and get into our astrology forecast for the week of February the 2nd through the about 8th, 9th, 10th. Yeah, sorry, the 8th. Um, I'm a little like weird right now with the astro forecast because all of the moons are landing on Sundays. So I'm trying to get used to like truly forecasting when, for example, I'm recording right now on Saturday, the 31st, but the new moon is tomorrow. But I've already taught you guys about it because it is in technically last week's reading because it's tomorrow. And my day that I start on is Monday back into Sunday, and then the next one is Monday that I start on. So a little like, so make sure that if you're trying to understand what's going on with that Leo new moon, that's going to be tomorrow on In Bulk Proper, that you check out the last recording that I did. And other than that, let's go ahead and get into it. So tomorrow, the full moon / quickening moon and also in bulk will all happen at 13 degrees of Leo. And Leo is the star of the show. It's literally the largest star in our solar system, the sun. And it's usually quite fiery and dramatic. And that energy may have already started this weekend. And it will carry for a month into the next full moon. So we are right smack dab in the middle of a lunar new year cycle that is working its way through. And then, our next new moon cycle will happen in Aquarius, which will also coincide with the first solar eclipse at 28 degrees of Aquarius on February 17th, which is also the Chinese Lunar New Year, which kicks off the fire horse. So we are really in like our last 2-week push. This solar eclipse is being activated actually by the Leo new moon tomorrow on the 1st. It officially opens up the eclipse portal because 2 weeks later we will be in a new moon, and that's an eclipse. And then we'll have a 2-week corridor between then. And then we will have our lunar eclipse at 12 degrees of Virgo. And then we'll have 2 more weeks to see what comes through and releases on those 2 weeks. And then the portal closes, but we are officially in it. We are also getting really close to the first part of the shadow phase of Mercury retrograde that's going to be in Pisces this spring. So we'll get to that when we get to our next week's meeting. We're going to talk a lot about that. But let's go ahead and talk about what is the major lunar cycle phase that we're going to see from the 2nd to the 8th of February. So the very first thing is, like I said, we got to get past this full moon in Leo and it kicks off eclipse season. And when eclipse season starts, it's like a vacuum. Okay. And it's a very weird space because it's a portal, and it's a portal of possibility, but it's a solar eclipse that we're coming into that's going to open up the portal, which is nice because it means new opportunities are coming in first before a lunar eclipse, which is a bunch of stuff leaving before new things can come in. So luckily this year in 2026, our Aquarius and Leo eclipses, which are starting the next round of eclipses, will both be solar eclipses. They're both a calling in of something new. And the lunar eclipses will be ruled by Virgo and Pisces, which we know very well by now because that started on January 11th of 2026, which has marked a full year of letting things go and surrendering and detoxing out things that are no longer aligned, and having to really utilize your faith and your sense of belief, whether that's subconscious related, whether that is in yourself or some sort of spiritual, practice, whatever it is. It has forced us to really reckon with what do we believe in regards to something bigger than us, and how are we going to let go of control and more OCD like perfectionistic tendencies and surrender. Okay. So the last quarter moon that we're going to have in that cycle is going to be at 20 degrees of Scorpio. So what we're looking at right here is the chart for our last quarter moon, which will be on February the 9th, which is actually next Monday. Like I said, it's a little weird because like we're kind of in the middle of talking about what feels a little, almost a little too far away. But I want you guys to be ahead of it versus me talking about that moon the day that it's happening. That way you can pay attention to what's working our way up to that last quarter moon. Now, last quarter moons are known for release. They're the best time to do banishment work. They're the best time to close things out. Well, what also aligns with that is that it's the last week of the snake year. So it's like we are really in this like closing shit out. We've got Imbolc coming in, which is fresh new beginnings and like the world dreaming through you, the subconscious really trying to give you new vision and new sight. And Neptune in Aries is doing that as well. It's really trying to help you clarify who are you and what is your vision and what vision have you been contributing to that you no longer align with. So we've really got 2 weeks after the full moon in Leo tomorrow to get our like ducks in a row, get our shit together and let go of the things, at least be willing to look at and let go of the things that are truly holding us back from our next timeline. So when we see this last quarter moon in Scorpio, Scorpio says, I transform. It's intense as hell. So like we know this is going to be intense. Well, it's also squaring the sun. Exactly. So what does this mean? It's like, it's not just the sun. Okay. We've got Mars at 13 degrees, which is within application to this orb. And then we've got Venus. So it's like the sun is sandwiching the way that we want to take action or don't take action. It's a part of our willpower, our ability to make choices. And then also it's a part of our financial story, our relational story, and our concept of self-worth and self-concept in general. Okay. So, Aquarius, which is largely the group and being unique and being visionary and revolutionary and standing out. And then the moon in Scorpio, which is like ruled by Pluto, which is like face your fears, get underneath it, transform your fear into power, find power in the medicine of your shadow, blah, 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 blah. So, wherever 20 degrees of Aquarius and 20 degrees of Scorpio are for you, it's going to impact you. So keep that in mind. All right. And something is going to have to transform. Now, let's talk a little bit more about some of the other aspects that I have written down that we're looking at. And that is, on the 2nd, which is Monday, the moon is going to enter Virgo. And then this week, one of the really important planetary movements that's happening is that Uranus is going to station direct again on Tuesday, February the 3rd. So what does that mean? It means that the planet of change, awakening, disruption, tower moments, and like breakdown to breakthrough is what I love to say for Uranus. We're going to have that come in really strong this week. If you haven't already been feeling it, it's disruptive. Something is changing. Something pretty important is changing. And this is the last hurrah of Uranus in the late degrees of Taurus for the next 84 years. It will cross back into 0 degrees of Gemini on April 25th of this year, and it will not go back. It will stay in Gemini, and we will officially be in the era of Gemini, Uranus in Gemini, which is going to change the way that we think, communicate, perceive drastically over the next 8 years. So it's like these final dregs of what has been traditional, marriage, religion, your finances, whatever has been long-standing and has been getting rocked since spring of 2018 is coming into completion. So maybe take a moment to kind of contemplate what that is. The other thing is that Chiron clicks forward to 23 degrees of Aries this week. And it's working its way back up to where it was before it stationed retrograde last year, which was 27 degrees. Well, it's going to cross into 0 degrees of Taurus this year briefly before it retrogrades back. So we're really needing to pay attention to this last run of Chiron and Aries because it's a 56-year cycle. We won't see it in Aries again starting in 2027. So we've got these eras, these things that are closing. And Aries is all about me, myself, Well, we've got Saturn at 29 degrees of Pisces right now, the karmic degree, and he's the ruler of karma. And it's time to let things from your past go. It's time to truly let them go because Saturn is not going to make excuses in Aries. Like not that he even made excuses in Pisces. He just was a little bit more fluid and a little bit more distracted, but he will not be in Aries. Aries and Capricorn get along very well. They are both, the ram and the goat, like they just get along great because they're both really driven and they both like structure. And there's just a lot of things that are about to change when Saturn officially crosses back in on February the 13th. And then shortly after that, we have that solar eclipse and we have the Chinese Lunar New Year, and all of this shit's happening in a fire sign, and it's a fire horse. So it's like we're really trying to prepare to ignite and leap forward. All right. So just keep in mind that that's what's underneath the surface of all of this. All right. Now, we've got just a little bit longer before Jupiter is going to station direct. It's going to get to 15 degrees and then it's going to station direct here shortly. But that's coming in. The other thing that's going to happen is that Mercury, the planet of communication, is going to square Uranus freshly direct. So Mercury, the planet of communication and mindset, is going to challenge Uranus freshly direct, which means, again, change, potential conflict, breakdown to breakthrough. Something's changing this week, okay? Wherever Taurus is in your chart is going to tell you a lot about what's changing. So for me, I have a kid, children rule in your fifth house, who has had some mental health issues, and we are having to bring him home to homeschool him. And that's a huge change that's in my fifth house of my home. Like it's going to change a lot of things that I'm trying to mentally and professionally prepare for that I've never homeschooled before, but it's a big change. So it's like there's something that will change this week, and you want to just allow yourself to be kind of open to what that could be. And that's on the 5th. And then the sun will quincunx Jupiter, and Mercury will also come into a semi-sextile with Saturn. Like all of these things are going to happen, and it's all about like what's changing, where can we be adaptable and flexible, and where do we feel stuck? Like just know that this week is a week of kind of complication. It's the full moon energy trying to settle down while Uranus is like got us all on edge and anxious. So movement is helpful this week, and being adaptable is going to be helpful this week. On the 6th, we're going to see Mercury enter Pisces, and we want to pay attention because Mercury retrograde will be in Pisces. So pay attention to stuff that's coming up. Then on the 7th, we're going to have the moon enter Scorpio. And then the 8th, Venus is going to square Uranus. And it's going to be interesting because, Venus is going to be in those very late degrees of Aquarius, which is all about change. And Uranus is going to be in Taurus, which is all about tradition. And Venus rules finances, self-worth, and relationship statuses. So just be mindful that, some sort of shift around those areas could come up for you. And then, like I said, on the 8th, we have our last quarter moon. Something is being let go of. Something has to be released and banished as we set up in our last week until eclipse season is officially in. All right. So we want to pay attention to the next 2 weeks because it's going to signal us a lot about what eclipse season is going to be about, Mercury retrograde is going to be about. And this eclipse season is a taste tester for the next 2 years that are rolling in of our work. Okay. So my tarot card question for you is, hold on. I literally had it in my brain and it just dropped. And that is, oh yes. Okay. A card to show me what kind of change is coming towards me this week. If you want to do like a what's under that or like a clarifier, you can even ask like, as an action step, a card that shows me what to do about it. That's totally up to you though. But those are your questions. A card to show me what kind of change is going to present itself to me. And if you want to do a secondary card that's for yourself, to clarify, it would be a card to show me what to do about that change or how to handle that change, whatever feels right to you in that way. All right, my friends, I hope that this has been helpful, and I will see you guys in class here shortly. And have a happy Imbolc. You guys have the rituals. It starts at dusk once the sun starts to set, and it will carry through until dusk tomorrow if you want to practice Yule proper. Okay. All right, my friends, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday.